live and always streaming. This is CBS News Detroit, getting answers.
A local youth mentor attacked at a music festival. His family now asking for help to find the person who did it.
The cyclosporiasis outbreak is now even bigger, coming up where investigators are now tracking a possible source.
And what we're tracking is that we are still seeing a little bit hazy conditions this morning as we have a little bit of smoke lingering over southeast Michigan. Morning storms into the afternoon. That's going to be the front clearing out this smoke, and we're going to get clearing and better air quality as we go through the evening and tomorrow. I'll tell you more about that coming up.
New border battle. This is a live look with the Gordie Howe Bridge expected to open in just a few days. The U.S. imposing a new 50% tariffs on Canadian goods. We'll take a look at what may be included.
And plot twist, the Avengers movie takes an unexpected turn. A sneak peek just ahead.
Good morning. Great to be here with you this morning. We're going to get to all those stories here coming up for you this hour. But first, we start with the forecast. Vetus Reed here on this Tuesday. And
Yes.
You know what? It feels much more humid as you step out this morning.
Yeah, we have the moisture from the rain that's moving in along that front, but it's going to feel better as we get into later tonight and then tomorrow. But we have to watch for a few storms that are going to move through. Most of that has stayed to the north. We're watching it. There was a potential for some of the areas to get some storms, but it didn't quite make it here. But once it does this morning and this afternoon, a few of those rainmakers could be heavy, and there could be a little bit of gusty winds with that. So we're still looking at a little bit of smoke still lingering in the atmosphere, so it's not the best air quality, but it's not extreme. We're seeing 73 degrees out there, and we're going to see this kind of move on out of here, which is good news. Now, here's the thing. Take a look at the red and orange dots here. This is unhealthy air quality over Metro Detroit, kind of inside of I-69. Now, as I zoom this out, look at all the dots north of Saginaw, Grand Rapids going north. That's closer to where the fire was, right? As you get closer into Canada, well, the air quality is getting better. The front's pushing in, and all the way back towards Green Bay with Milwaukee. They're getting much better air already as the cold front presses that out. So we have to let that front get through here later today. That's going to clear out the air, and it's going to feel better. So we're still kind of in that unhealthy zone, even though we don't have an alert for it yet, or today. It looks like we're just going to see it clear out, which is good. But still take note of it as you may breathe a little bit of that this morning. But then as the front makes its way through, we could get a few of these storms that are going to fire up, and there could be a few strong winds that we're tracking. So we're a marginal risk, level 1 out of 5, just on the very edge here for Detroit and areas south as the system continues to push through. More severe storms, though, are expected Toledo south, heading towards Washington, D.C., where they're really under the gun today for maybe some stronger storms. I'll track for you what we're going to see storm-wise. We're watching it for later this morning coming up.
And as that wildfire smoke continues to linger over Metro Detroit, health officials still want residents to keep in mind that the air is still unhealthy despite smoke levels going down.
Officials say the tiny particles in the wildfire smoke, also known as PM 2.5, are small enough to travel deep into your lungs and even enter your bloodstream. That's why vulnerable people, including those with heart disease, asthma, COPD, older adults, and pregnant women, you should limit your time outdoors.
Patients who have underlying lung disease accelerates the progression of their lung disease. They're more likely to have symptoms of lung disease, as you know, coughing, wheezing, shortness of breath, and it also increases their risk for lung cancer.
Automotive experts also want to remind people to turn your car's air conditioning to the recirculate setting to limit the amount of smoke coming into your car.
President Trump issuing an additional 50% tariff on Canadian goods just days before the opening of the Gordie Howe International Bridge.
The president says this is due to unfair discrimination against American cars, alcohol, and dairy products.
Let's go ahead and get you right over to Jordan Burroughs live at the Gordie Howe Bridge this morning. Jordan, good morning.
Good morning, Sandra. Good morning, Meredith. Between Canada and Mexico, those are the two largest, essentially, goods providers for the United States of America. Canada being number 2. That's for the first 5 months of the year. About $300 billion worth of goods flow between Canada and U.S. So this is going to spark a big deal between the two nations. We know that these tariffs won't go into effect for a few weeks. August 19th is what the Trump administration is looking at for these tariffs. That's just a few weeks after the Gordie Howe Bridge opens here. According to the White House, they said that they accused Canada of, quote, unreasonable, unequal, and discriminatory retaliatory actions by imposing tariffs or import restrictions on certain American goods, some of which began after Donald Trump's initial round of tariffs on Canada last year. So in retaliation for last year's Canadian tariffs on certain U.S. auto imports, the Trump administration has now slapped tariffs on certain Canadian electronics, hockey equipment, honey, flower bulbs, down feathers, plywood, cowhides, jewelry, and the list of goods kind of goes on and on. The White House also imposed tariffs on Canadian beer, wine, liquor, and milk in response to Canadian boycotts of U.S. alcohol in response to last year's tariffs and long-standing Canadian quotas on dairy imports. So still a few weeks before this officially goes into effect. It could still change. The White House could walk back its tariffs, but as of now, in a few weeks from now, a list of all of those goods will have a 50% tariff. As for the Gordie Howe Bridge, this is still expected to be opened on Monday, July 27th. Reporting live in Detroit, Jordan Burrows, CBS News, Detroit.
Yeah, still so much that is just up in the air at this hour. All right, Jordan, thank you. This morning, a Detroit man recovering from the hospital from what his family and friends say was a violent attack that happened at a music festival. Lon Hartman is someone we interviewed right here in studio earlier this month about his work as a mentor to children in Detroit. Hartman was in northern Michigan at the Bliss Fest Music Festival last weekend when he was found with serious cuts to his neck. Hartman's friends and family say he was assaulted in what was potentially a hate crime. His friends say that he is the least deserving person for something so cruel.
Whoever did this, just that they just get the justice that's due for Lon. He did not deserve this. No one deserves anything like this, so we're praying hard.
The Emmett County Sheriff's Office released a statement saying that they recognize the significant public interest surrounding this horrific incident and appreciate the community's patience and cooperation as investigators continue their work. The Emmett County Sheriff's Office has also set up a dedicated tip line and a separate phone number specifically for this case. You can find both of those on our website at cbsdetroit.com. Our Hannah McElree will have the full story coming up for you in our next half hour.
Mourners, meanwhile, gathered in Ocean Springs, Mississippi Monday for the funeral of Nolan Wells. The 18-year-old college football player took a boat trip with friends to an island off the Gulf Coast on the 4th of July. He did not return with the group, but his cell phone and keys were located separately. Authorities found Wells' body 2 days later. His family and their legal team took questions after the funeral, announcing rewards for anyone with information that leads to an arrest or conviction in the case, while reinforcing they still do not know if there's criminal wrongdoing or not.
I ask that each of you keep Nolan's memory alive. Hold him close in your hearts. Share his stories and never stop saying his name. As long as we continue to remember him, his light will continue to shine through us all.
Really feel for that family. The Reverend Al Sharpton promised a $50,000 reward with a match from filmmaker Tyler Perry, raising it to $100,000. Attorney Ben Crump said the results of an independent autopsy are expected soon, while there is no timeline on the state's autopsy.
We have an update for you now this morning out of Royal Oak Township. State police say one person has been arrested in connection to a hit-and-run crash involving a young child. A car believed to be involved in that incident has also been seized. The crash happened Monday night on westbound 8 Mile Road east of Wyoming. That child was taken to the hospital and at last check remains in critical condition. State police say the investigation is open and active. A Detroit woman will be in court today charged with concealing the death of her newborn baby. Police say they arrived to the home of 31-year-old Desanya Powell back on July 8th, and that's when they found a tote inside of a dumpster containing a seriously decomposed body of a child wrapped in a white sheet. Powell was arrested on July 10th. She's due back in court later today for a probable cause conference and then again on the 28th for a preliminary exam.
On Monday, Taylor Farm says the FDA apologized for linking the uncomfortable parasite outbreak cyclosporiasis to their iceberg lettuce from central Mexico. The FDA released the positive test linked to the product. It's now deemed to be a false positive and that they have yet to find a product linked to the infection. Logan Taylor is one of thousands of people in Michigan who had the infection. She had all the symptoms that were so unbearable. It was hard to work and take care of her family. As the FDA announces they have yet to find out where this parasite is coming from, she's worried about getting it again.
Now, when I'm going to the grocery store, instead of just picking up the fruits and veggies or the food items that I normally was grabbing for me and my family, I have to second guess and say to myself, one, was this on the list of foods that has been affected?
And go to our website to learn more about what foods you should avoid.
And looking ahead today, we're going to get a few showers and thunderstorms this morning into the mid-afternoon. Those are going to be the cold front pushing through, clearing out that smoke. So we could get a few gusty ones. So we're watching that for today. For tomorrow, the sun is going to be out and it's going to look like a beautiful day. Less humidity, cooler temperatures, and the smoke is kind of removed from the atmosphere. I'm going to have a closer look at that coming up.
And charges are pending following a fiery explosion outside a federal building in New York City. More details on the person who did it straight ahead.
The U.S. launched another round of strikes against Iran overnight as violence continues to escalate. I'm Bradley Blackburn with details on the U.S. service members killed over the weekend and the Capitol Hill hearings about the war set for today.
And as we go to break, a reminder, we're getting answers here at CBS News Detroit. If you have questions or concerns, let us know. Send us an email at gettinganswers@cbs.com.